We thought about the connection pool, the advantage of connection pool, and we saw the example as well. Why connection pool is required. Without connection pool, if I go with the direct connections, we saw the problem where we started inserting 10,000 records, but finally we would able to achieve 300 insertions. So in real time, if you imagine you have a business, if you think Amazon is your business and you have lot of products in your Amazon website, okay, and offers also looks good for customers. So when they try to log in and try to purchase it, if your application is built with single connection or direct database connection, open and close logic, they all can't able to purchase items. Maybe few of them can connect with your database and get the execution done. But for the remaining users, it will continuously send fail message because of connection not availability. So that is not good for the business. So you instead getting connection from database, use connections from connection pool. It will execute very faster. We saw 10,000 records inserted hardly in 20 seconds. Maybe if you don't print SOP less than 20 seconds, it will print. It will say. During commercial usages, commercial database will execute so faster than the local database. Okay. So connection pool is always recommended to connect with database rather than simple connections. So that we learned. Now we'll go one step ahead and we'll actually we are doing database operations by using simple JDBC. I want to show you advanced JDBC using Spring. Once again, see how I designed it. Okay, same way in real time we will be using it, creation of connection pool and using it in our classes. Mostly right, 95% till 99% you people will work on CRUD operations. Most of the times you will be implementing controller methods, service methods, DAO methods. Okay, so implementation of these three layers, by this time you must be able to comfortably implement them. At least by using main method, you could able to call your controller method from controller to service, service to DAO, DAO to database. People must able to Did you lost my audio between? All right. Yeah. Which one we used? Do you guys remember? Hello, am I audible? Uh, employee. That is not done. Okay, this example, right? This one or stereotype with auto wired or which one? should have corrected it. App config having connection pool creation and all. This one only, right? Yeah. Okay. No, not this one. This one only. Auto wire. Stereotypes with auto wired example only having it. So we saw a controller single method implementation, post method. From post we called basic connection style save method and JDBC pure connection style and connection pool style also we called. And we saw the difference when we inserted lot of records. The second one is struggled, wherein 10,000 records out of 10,000 only 300 success. Here out of 10,000 10,000 success, all success. Right, no excuse in the applications, right? Always if you get the request, that should be success. It should not fail because of so and so infrastructure reasons. We should make it success, otherwise we will lose the business. So here is my controller class method. From front end, assume employee calling to, or admin calling this post method to create employee. Controller class is getting the request, and here I auto wired employee service. When we auto wire it, in case if this class want to call this class methods, we will auto wire it. In general, we will not implement all the methods in a single class. We usually implement few methods in controller, few in service, few in DO. We know which methods we will implement. Front end to back end to read data, we use controllers. After here, to implement business, we use service, and to implement database logic, we use DAOs. Okay. So from here, I want to make a call to create method. So it will call service class create method. From here, yeah, session is getting recorded. And from here, DAO class save method is called. Here I am using data source. What is this data source? From where it is auto wired? So this data source is a connection pool object. I want to use this connection pool class get connection method to get the connection. So there is a get connection method in this data source. But is it a class that I implemented or a predefined class? It is a predefined class. If you see, this class is available from Java X SQL package. So this class I need not to write any code for this. Just I need to use it. But to use it, it is not a fully implementation class. It is an interface. We can auto wire interfaces with their implementation objects. But somewhere I should construct this object. Where should I construct third party objects? Within the config class. We need to create a configuration class there by using at the rate bean, whichever object you require. So I'm auto wiring which bean here? Data source bean. And here which bean I am trying to create? Data source bean only. Create a data source. So when we put this statement, what will happen? If you imagine your XML style, right? Your bean will be created and loaded into IOC context. Which bean will be created? Whatever bean you created here, whatever logic you have created here to create this bean. So here my return type is data source and the dependency also data source. But why I am creating basic data source object here? Because it is implementation, interface implementation. Basic data source is having multiple implementations. One of its implementation is basic data source from Apache. So that's why I created basic data source here with the required number of connections. With only two connections, we did that example. Instead of two connections, if you have 200 connections, your code might have executed very fast. Okay. Usually commercial databases will have large number of connections. In my local also, I can increase this count. There is a command. I forget it, but you guys can see. There is a command to increase the connections count in your local Oracle database also. Just a moment. So here I'm creating basic data source, which is implementation of data source, and finally returning it. So data source is providing connections for your creation or connection pool creation. They need a driver. Similarly, like how you create connections by using class.forName, then driver manager.get connection. Similar logic has been implemented inside basic data source, but not only single connections. They will create pool of connections and they will hold it in a map object. At a time, they will create the same logic. They will execute driver manager.get connection for 15 times and they will fetch 15 connections, and it will be keep into a simple hash map or hash table object. That object will not killed until you shut down your application. This basic data source object will be registered into your IOC, that is not killed until you shut down your application. So until you kill your application, you will be having 15 connections always available. That is what we are saying pool. So this pool of object will be available to you until you shut down. They are with you. They are with you in your application. So how to consume them? Just by auto wiring this data source in any of your DO class, you can consume it. How to consume? Simple. Just use data source dot get connection. Bus, you will get connection. From here, you know what to do. Connection dot create statement or prepared statement or callable statement. You can use it for any kind of statement after here. Finally, when you call connection dot close, usually when you use JDBC connection close, right? This statement. When you use usually JDBC connection dot close statement, it will return connection back to database. When you use pure JDBC. Using this pure JDBC, when you open connection and call connection.close, your connection will be returned back to database. Means the sockets will be closed, whichever sockets open for you. But in case of connection pool connection, which you got from connection pool, when you apply connection.close, here it will not return connection back to database. Rather, it will keep your connection into pool itself. Instead, it is returning back, it will keep it into pool itself. So that next users can consume it. Whoever is in queue, they can consume it. So at a time, 1,000 students or 10,000 students or 1 lakh students, let them hit, their operations will not fail. In case for that instance, for that microsecond connection not available, the request will be holded. As soon as some others DB operations executed, the previous students DB operations executed, as soon as it reaches this line connection dot close, the connection will be available for the next user. Okay. The only time taken process is here this execute update. So you can't avoid it. Making call from your code to database, you can't avoid it. But at least you can avoid this connection open and connection closing risk, right? You avoid it so that your application is faster than before, and your application will show 100% success rate than the before. Now I wanted to go one more next level here. Instead of using plain JDBC style of code here, in plain JDBC style, we open connection, then we create statement to database and we pass our SQL query, whichever SQL operation you want. From front end, if you want to save data or update data, delete, select, whatever operation it is, we will be using queries here and we will be passing data. And in connection pool also you are doing it. So Spring will give an advanced JDBC. Spring will give an advanced JDBC to avoid Spring will give an advanced JDBC template classes. Templates means again a framework kind of class. They given a framework kind of class to avoid this many number of lines code. On top of data source only they implemented that. Which means internally they are using data source technique only. Whichever logic you have performed here, right? From line number 21 to 33. Using data source dot get connection and create statement. Later you are calling execute update, then statement dot close. If I ask to implement a prepared statement, you can implement prepared statement here, and callable statements also from your core Java knowledge that you can do. After line number 23, you know what to do. Now in advanced JDBC, in Spring advanced JDBC, what they are doing is they are trying to avoiding all these lines of code. Just assume they given a predefined class with predefined method. That method, like your save method, that method will take care of all these operations. Okay. If you see, if I ask you to write the code, just assume if I ask you to write the code for employee or student or product. Okay, save for employee we have here. If I say save for student, so only my table name might change it here, student or RBU student. The remaining code looks the same if I have same number of columns, or else columns might change. In place of ID name, email address, we might have some different columns. If you see, the remaining logic is looking same. Opening connection, creating statement and closing statement. These two lines of code, first two lines you can see here it is same, here also it is same. Last two lines are same and again same. If I save some product, RB product, if you see here also same. Opening connection, creating statement, closing connection. Just to table name I am changing, or else the query might change. But apart from that, lot of statements looking common. When you find common code here, instead rewriting it again and again and again, you can use templates, either your custom template or predefined templates. So let me comment. So as we observed that lot of code repeatedly we are using when we are dealing with multiple tables. One application means not only single table, right? You might have 10 tables, 20 tables, or 100 tables. For all 100 tables, you might have save operations, update operations, delete operations, select operations. Consider the same example which I have given here. The redundant code, how much you are writing, try to calculate. I have 100 tables. For 100 tables, I have 5 CRUD methods. 5 CRUD methods, 100 DO classes, and for each DO class, 5 CRUD operation methods. I have save, update, delete, select all. Each each of CRUD method, what you are doing, opening connection, creating statement, closing connection, closing statement. 4 lines of code, common code you are writing, and one extra statement to execute your query. So overall 5 lines of code, 5 lines of code, 5 lines of code. 5 lines code for each CRUD operation method. 5 into 5, 24 lines of code you need to write. 24 lines of 25 lines of code. 25 into 100, 2500 lines of code you should be writing there. And repeatedly, how many lines duplicate of code you are writing? Almost out of 2500, 2000 lines of code is duplicate. 2000 lines of code is duplicate. This open connection, create statement, closing statement, and closing connection. Isn't it? If I write 100 DO classes with 5 CRUD operation methods, again each method, save or update or delete method, need to perform same thing. They should open connection, they should create statement, later they should execute whatever DDL, DML or DRL query, then they should close. So if I avoid that repeated lines, and if one line of code, if I can able to achieve it with one line of code by just repeated code, if I find some way to avoid that repeated logic, if I write it in one place, in only one place, and if I write only my SQL operation here, one single line, it will avoid 5 lines of code. Instead it will keep one line of code in your method. So for 5 CRUD operations, 5 lines of code. So for 100 classes, 100 into 5, 500 lines of code. Earlier it was 2500. 2500 lines versus 500 lines. Which is easy maintainable? 500 lines. So when you use template classes will have a predefined logic which is commonly you are using. So what kind of classes we have here? What kind of classes we have here for JDBC to avoid this redundant logic? In JDBC, we have JDBC template class. A JDBC template class, a JDBC template class. It is given in Spring JDBC module. In Spring JDBC module, it has given. So here we have two template classes, JDBC template and named parameter JDBC template. Two template classes given. Basically, template classes here, these template classes are having predefined methods. Open API. Am I audible, guys? Cool. So I'm just opening JDBC template API. Okay, this is the JDBC template class, which is in Spring Framework JDBC package. And if you see methods of this class, it is a predefined class for executing your CRUD operations. Okay, so usually for doing save in JDBC style, you are opening connection, open connection, create statement or prepared statement or callable statement, then you will be executing, then close statement or prepared statement or callable statement, then you will be closing connection. This is what you will be writing. If it is a save or update method or delete method or find, any kind of select methods. For all CRUD operations, we will be writing the code this way. In JDBC template, they have given some methods to you to avoid these repeated lines. Whichever lines are common that you can avoid, they have given methods here. So you can see here the main important methods are update, update method, update method for using for insert, update, delete operations. If you have insert, update, delete operations, you can use update method with SQL. See, there are some overloaded methods. Overloaded methods we have update with simple SQL, update with arguments, update with arguments and argument data types. Multiple styles we have. Okay, so update with the simple select SQL. If I see how it will work. So inside your DO class, by using this JDBC template, this update method, right? This is the update method which is available in JDBC template. So while writing your DO class, right, in Spring particularly, you need to auto-wire this JDBC template. Auto-wire of JDBC template. You need to auto-wire your JDBC template. We will see how to create it. Creation of JDBC template is not a difficult thing. So I have my DO class. In my DO class, I want to do save operation. Save. Save is getting some parameters here, ID, name, email, address. And by using JDBC template, how to do the same? In case of JDBC, I need to put this 5 lines of code. If it is a plain JDBC, here instead of JDBC template, I need to put data source and I need to open connection, then create statement, blah blah blah. I need to write. But as I have JDBC template here, in the same method, what you can do, you can write JDBC template dot the update method which has given. You can put your SQL query and you can bind your data also. You know how to do that. Insert statement with the ID, name, email address. You can write and you can execute it. चलो चलो और అలా చేయండి చేసుకోండి just a minute guys. So when you execute this statement with your SQL less data, when you give this as an input to this predefined method, this update method is already implemented. This is implemented by Spring people and given to us. Internally, this update method will do what? It will do that job for you, whichever you do before. What it will do? Data source dot get connection it will apply. But who will give data source to JDBC template? We won't. We will create data source and we will give data source input. So data source again is an input for JDBC template. So internally they have implemented such code. Connection, then connection dot statement, create statement whatever it is, then executing your query, then close. All these operations are already implemented. Just during execution, whatever SQL query you have given here, whatever SQL query with the data you have given here, that one will substitute here in this execute method. This one will be placed here and they will be executing it. It's a simple predefined method already. They have all the code except your SQL query. Wherever customization required, that customization they are taking as input from you and you are giving that input from here. So it will be placed here. Now instead of writing that many lines of statements, you can use simple update method. JDBC template update methods. Give your SQL plus data. Internally, it will open connection for you. It will create statement for you. It will execute it, and it will make sure it will close all your connections properly. In JDBC style, I should have something little bit worry. Let's say a few freshers are working and some experts are also working. Experts are not forgetting to close connections and statements. Freshers, you know, because of hurriness or because of lack of knowledge, they forget to close connections. What will happen during production? Right, first day application will work fine, next day also it looks fine. From day 3, day 4, it start hanging because of connections not available. If that class is implemented by someone who is not closed connections properly. But if I go through JDBC style, JDBC template, if I go through JDBC template and if I ask everyone to use JDBC template only, I need not to bother about if he is a fresher or is it with everyone? Hello, am I audible? Is it clear with everyone or just a minute, just a minute. Just a minute. I'm switching my network. Okay. Yeah, am I audible now? Is it clear? Hello? Am I audible, guys? I just shared. Uh, is it frozen? I shared it. Yes. Okay. So, do you guys understand the context why template is or how template is useful? I'm explaining. So, when we have repeated lines of statements, you know, common statements, you better put that common statements in a class, and you can, uh, you know, reuse that class, reuse that statements, and whatever is you find a changeable statement, only this execute update or uh, the statement creation may be different. Apart from that, opening connections, opening, creating statements, closing, and all these exception handling, even if you see, JDBC will force you to put try catch or throw exceptions, right? So to avoid all that, if you go with this JDBC template, it will do it for you. All the exceptions are handling inbuilt, and just it will expect SQL plus data from you. That's it. Remaining everything it will take care. So how many such methods we have here means lot of methods. If you see, if you explore JDBC template, lot of methods. Which of the important methods are update method for insert, update, delete operations, and for select we have to do select we have find methods, find or query method, query method to get the objects or to get the results. For DML operations we have update method. For select operations we have query method, and so many query methods also given. Query for object, query for list if you want multiple objects, if you want single row, query for object, or single column also you can use query for object. So by using all these methods you can reduce JDBC code, and you can make it sure your code is leakage proof of connections and statements. Connections and statements will not leak. They will be definitely closed. It will make sure all the connections and statements properly closed. So coming to architecture wise, how to use JDBC template. To use JDBC template, let's say you have a form having input. Stop me if you are not able to hear, right? Address. So from form, usually we use data. We read data from form in our controller, and controller will send that data to service. Service will send it to DAO. So service is auto-wide here. So from here you can make calls to service method. Service is auto-wide with DAO. So from here you can make calls to DAO. So form to controller, controller to service, service to DAO, we will get it. Now DAO need to connect with the database and execute JDBC operations. But the normal way of getting connection is not at all recommended. Instead, we should use connection pools only. So we need to create a connection pool. We know how to create it. You can use data source concept, create a connection pool. Basic data source or combo pool data source, BDS or combo pool data source or Hikari data source. Any data source object which holds multiple connections. We know we can create this data source using at the rate bean, and this at the rate bean should be utilized under configuration class. So in configuration class, you can create this bean. Along with this bean, you need to create one more bean, which is JDBC template. JDBC template bean also you should create. Using at the rate bean, JDBC template also you should create. And this JDBC template class is a predefined class. As I said, right? It's a predefined bean class in Spring JDBC API. This method is having, this class is having set data source. There is a method name called set data source. Set data source method it is having. One setter method it is having. Which class? JDBC template. Set data source. So while creation of this bean, JDBC template bean, you should call set data source, and the input for this set data source is connection pool object. Input for this data source is your connection pool object only. So whichever connection pool you create here, that connection pool you should pass as an input to this set data source. So finally it will deliver JDBC template. JDBC template bean is available for your DAO. Earlier we used to use directly connection pool object. Now onwards, connection pools are injected into JDBC template. You can use at the rate auto void JDBC template. And for all your CRUD operations, you can use it. You can have a save method. Any CRUD operation method, you can use JDBC template with single line statement. If it is a insert, update, delete, you should use update method. If it is a select method, you need to use JDBC template dot query for methods. There are multiple query for methods we have. That's it. With one single line statement, you can able to execute your DB queries here on this database. And you need not to worry about connections also. Connections are already integrated. Connection pool is integrated with the JDBC template. While you are using update methods or query for methods, it will use these connections only which are there in the connection pool. Like how you implemented, right? Similar way it will use. So this is how we need to construct two configuration objects. Connection pool object is JDBC template object. And JDBC template object you need to auto wire in your DO class, and using this JDBC template you can execute your CRUD operations. Okay, so tomorrow we will see the example. Okay, I'll show you the example about JDBC template and named parameter template in tomorrow's session. Okay, any doubt so far? Yeah, yes, yes. Project session videos. Yeah, I will do it. And did you guys try it with any other connection pool? Hikari and basic data source. Which one you used? Yesterday I uploaded. Yeah, yesterday I have uploaded. Yeah. You may refresh it, you can see. C3P0 you used? Great. Mhm. Good. So you can try Hikari also. Please download Hikari connection pool and try it. Tomorrow I'll show you all these three. Basic C3P0 Hikari with the JDIP set. Mhm. Yes, they all available. 2015 itself recorded. You can subscribe Durgasoft channel. Advanced Java binary. Yeah, these all are my videos. 54 advanced Java videos are there. Yeah, 54 sessions are there. Let me share you this playlist. L- For advanced Java. Yeah, 473K views. I should have uploaded into my channel. Lot of views. Let me share it. Copy. Yeah, guys, please try to do. Soon I'll record latest versions of all core advanced and I'll put it in my channel. Okay, I think that's it. Advanced Java also, advanced Java you find it. Hibernate also you can see. Hibernate. See, end to end, yeah. Once after the topics that, yeah. So you from day one, if we follow that pattern, of course we will achieve it. We need not to create a project separately. During examples coverage itself, yeah, yeah, that is a good practice. That we do. Uh, you can easily understand where and in which place that particular module will fits. Okay, we will do that practice. Same. Okay, and go through my latest project sessions also, which are there in my channel. This is the Hibernate one. No, particularly. Yeah, but in microservices, I'm planning to do because in Spring Boot meant for microservices. You can do web applications also. That we will see. Small use cases I will give you. You can extend to what your controllers. We need to learn MVC. After MVC, you can enjoy that. Okay. Now you can't because the internal architecture, everything I should explain before it. Otherwise, it will be confusing. Okay. In next five sessions, right? You can see it after 5 sessions. Project videos you are asking, right? Go to my channel. Already you have this one, right? The link, which link I shared? September, right? RBU September link. You have this link with you, right? September blog link. This one, right? Hmm. Up to connection pool. See, yesterday uploaded up to 22nd session. Today 23rd session will be uploaded. Okay. So what I'm saying is, if you can go to my channel, you guys, if you want to subscribe it, I didn't ask to subscribe. The reason is I want to share via portal only. Yeah, yeah. So now usually, why I'm not asking is, I thought of sharing via portals only. But yeah, if you guys done, that is fine. So once you go to the channel here, okay. Once you go to the channel, you can see multiple playlists. One playlist is created for you, and the previous playlist also you can see there are a lot of videos in there. And the project playlist also should be there. Yeah, 29 sessions are there. You can go through this one. Okay, Spring only, Spring microservices. Forget about technical thing, but before jumping into the coding, the important things that what we need to learn, the basic analysis, conceptualization to technical functional requirement conversion, that all discussed there. Usually we all will be strong in technical side, but from the process side or from the requirement conversion side, we will be uh, we need that technical, knowledge also, how to convert actual requirements into technical requirements. That is more focused and covered here. If you go from day one session, you can see it about Agile, about Kanban, about mm, s- what it is, about sprints, everything covered there. You may go through it. Okay.